you are going with us to honor our heroes, and they are indeed great heroes, actually. They said, and all of them said very strongly, we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. They won't have a nuclear weapon. So we're going to honor them, and one of the hardest things to do. For me, it's one of the hardest things to do as a president, but has to be done.
As we go to honor these soldiers, do you have an update on the investigation as to how they were killed in Jordan?
No, they're doing that. That'll be released.
There was a report
you know what?
that it was Iran targeting barracks.
I don't know. Well, they're going to pay a big price. They're being decimated.
Is that report inaccurate?
Yeah, please.
Sir, what do you say to families of these fallen soldiers when Americans are wrongly against this war? How do you ask them?
Well, Americans aren't against the war. A poll just came out. Americans don't want high gasoline prices, but they're not against the war. That just came out loud and clear in a poll. Nobody wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. You want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? You think it's good? Go ahead.
What is your will speech to the families? What will you say to them today?
All I'm going to say is we love you. We love your child, and that's what they are to them. They're their children. There's no games, no nothing. That's their child. And all you can do is throw out your heart. Thank you. Thank you very much.
What's the point in negotiating with anyone?
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Rally Day. Today, President Trump will be holding a rally in a place called Wheeler, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. At a high school, I believe, is where they're holding the rally today. There's already a big crowd with parents and children. He'll be talking about the Trump accounts. But before I get to the rally, he's due to come up at 3 o'clock, so I'm going to get this in. I feel this is extremely important, especially on a day like today. So, one, if you've never seen a rally or been with us for a rally, welcome. I think you'll have some fun. And if you've never seen or witnessed a dignified transfer, this may be a little bit compelling. Get your hankies out. I'll give you a second. Get your hankies out because this is quite compelling. Well, I'll talk more after this is over.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Hello again, everybody. Did everybody have a chance to wipe their eyes and take a couple minutes and breathe through that pain. If you're a veteran or you know someone who's had to go through that, my heart definitely goes out to you. I pray for these fallen soldiers as well, and hope that we don't have any more that have to come home like that, or if they have to come home with any injury. Like, it's horrible. But I felt compelled to start the show with that. So as we get into the woo-hoo-hoos and start feeling good about things, I think we had to pay our respects. So I got to tell you, as I'm looking on the monitor here of the audience, I have never seen an audience like this for President Trump today. Not because of the size, but because they're all young. Well, not all young kids. The parents are there with them, but it looks like a TPUSA convention. It looks like this could be Charlie Kirk talking. There's a whole bunch of kids. Let me see if I can pull it up and give you a quick glance at this without their music going nuts on me. But here is what the audience looks like right now. Which one is this?
Your mic is off, Barry. Your mic is off.
Thank you. See, that's a good reason for having SV talking. Is it on now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. All right. So as you're looking at these kids right now, you can see it is a younger audience. What I was saying with my mic off, because I was sitting here composing my thoughts as well while I was listening to the dignified transfer. But this is an audience unlike anything I've seen in any rally that we've ever covered, because not because of the size, but because of the makeup. You can see there's so many kids. If I go to full screen, you can see there's one kid on the far right who's got a TP, which is pretty cool. The TPUSA, see it in the far right? So that's like a Charlie Kirk shirt that the kid has on. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool right there. That's why my mic went off, because the music keeps playing. But anyway, it's a different kind of event. It's at a high school. So I love it. So you're going to be talking about Trump accounts. If you see the kid with the signs there, it's all about the Trump accounts today. I wanted to show you one thing after the dignified transfer. And it was something that President Trump posted. Not sure if he was on the plane 2 hours ago, maybe before he got on the plane. He posted this, and he posted it. Trump orders CENTCOM to, quote, open the gates of hell, unquote, after U.S. troops killed launches strikes on Iran. Open the gates of hell. Okay, we shall see what that means, but it doesn't look good for Iran, and I'm sure it doesn't look good to a lot of the whiners and complainers out there on X, which we'll talk about them later. But in any event, I'm looking forward to the rally. Hope you guys are looking forward to it. SV, how you doing, man?
Hey, doing all right. Good to see you. It's going to be a fun rally. There's a lot of young folks. Those are our future voters.
Yeah.
Hopefully they haven't been too brainwashed yet.
But well, if they're there, they're probably not that brainwashed. So I think we can feel accordingly. But
they're open in minds. It's clay, right? It's clay. They're being massaged.
Yeah, exactly. So before we get to anything, you got any stories? President Trump is due out at 3:00. Obviously, he's not out. It's 3 p.m. I tried to time that perfectly, which I did. Now we just got to see if he's on time. All right, what do you got? Which one?
All right. Well, at the bottom, I just sent you. I'm going to really label it real quick.
Okay, you got. Hey, I got number one here. Number one is a patriot. It says here. What's this? Patriot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, he nails it, right? The Save America Act. If you got to show your ID to show up for a rally, you need to show ID to vote. Even the DNC requires ID to go into their events. Olive Garden requires ID for a freaking pasta pass. So the right to vote is sacred. Make it a law. I mean, it can't be any clearer. It's a 90-10 issue. I mean, the 10% are the crazy people, but yeah, even Democrats want it. So let's make it happen.
They are complaining all over the place today. There's another hearing about ICE. And what the what is that?
That's my phone.
Oh,
that's my ringtone. The Godfather. Sorry about that.
They're
Live
complaining
TV.
they're having another hearing today, and this new hearing today is about ICE, ICE, ICE. And I feel like sometimes we're just watching a movie because the woman from Lindell TV, she runs around with these microphones, and all they did was run away from her today. As she was trying to talk to people, all they do is run away where she tries to get some information from. Hey, why not this? Why not that?
That's one of my cuts. That's
Is
one
it?
of my cuts.
Okay, hold
Cut
on.
number 3.
Let me get
Cut
the
number 3.
let me do number 2 first.
Okay.
Can I show this? Yeah, I can show it.
Sure.
Excuse me. So what do we got
Just
here?
a couple of illegals crossing the border. So yeah, looks like we had outside of Eagle Pass 8 illegal immigrants custody. But check it out, 3 of them were from China. 5 from Mexico. So like yeah. So they're still trying to get in, and that's espionage kind of crap. I mean, what were they doing sneaking in?
That's a long way from home. Look, China,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah. I think you crossed a number of borders before you got to America, which would have
True that.
required you to stop. So this one here you got is Lindell TV. What's her name? Allison, I believe. But before I talk to you about it, let me download it so we can watch it, because Liz Warren is always a treat
Right.
to see. Hold on, let me pull it in here while we're waiting. President
While you're
Trump.
doing that, cut 4 was actually I showed you Trump getting off Air Force One. So if you want to show that first, or can you do multitasking while it's downloading?
Yeah, hold on. Let me put this out. Okay.
Hi, just a quick question for you. I know you're vehemently opposed to the Save America Act, but does the recent revelation in New Jersey with the aliens who are actually registered to vote change your opinion on getting that legislation passed?
It is already illegal for someone who's not an American citizen to vote, period.
But
That's
there's
the
at
law.
least 400 aliens that did
There
vote.
are already laws to prevent that.
Well, do you
And
think
if
anything's gonna
people
happen?
have violated the law, then they should be prosecuted.
What an
Do you think
idiot!
anything's actually going to happen? I thought Democrats always said that there's no evidence of
I don't
illegals voting.
understand why you want laws that are already there. That
they're
makes
not
no
being-
sense.
But I thought Democrats.
Gotta go! Gotta go!
She
Need to
could-
get away.
Oh my God. The elevator door. Shut
There's
the door.
law-
Oh my gosh.
Are there laws for stupidity? Let's fire her. I was going to say something
They
bad.
literally have no answer to anything.
No.
And it just keeps getting worse for them. It's already a law. Why do we need another law? Because you won't enforce it. And if it's already a law, then why don't you want people at the polling places to enforce the law? I mean, if you're going to be speeding on a highway and it says 55 or 65, should we not have the police doing speed traps? Because it's already a law. We don't have to put police out there. No,
The only reason is they want, these are their voters. That's the only way they can win, is by cheating. That's the only way. You see it any other way? Sorry.
No, go ahead. The worst part about it is it doesn't matter because so many people on the left don't care. Do whatever you need to do. Just get power. You need to steal it. You need to cheat. You need to do whatever you need to do. We need to take over. And that just ends up where they are. And it's disgusting. And then you got this idiot. I'm going to talk about that again tomorrow. I don't like
Which
to
one?
talk about.
Can you
this
narrow
one.
it down a little bit?
This one.
2-minute social media video where he suggested the U.S. government should step up and arrest Netanyahu over a 2024 International Criminal Court warrant, which accused the Israeli leader of war crimes in Gaza. The mayor said he was defending humanity and dignity of all people, but a Jewish human rights organization, the Simon Wiesenthal Center, pointing out that Mamdani's video, quote, made no mention of Hamas or the October 7th massacre of innocent civilians. Netanyahu responded earlier this week to Mamdani, who had similar critique of Israel during an interview with the New York Times. Netanyahu defended Israel's wartime actions and dismissed the International Criminal Court as a, quote, kangaroo court. And Israeli Ambassador Danny Danon also sounding off, writing in part on X, Zoran Mamdani, enough. You were elected to serve New Yorkers, not Hamas propaganda. Do your job. Today, in response to criticism, Mamdani said he does consider October 7th a, quote, war crime. President Trump, Martha, has already shut down the idea of Netanyahu's arrest, posting to Truth Social on Monday that the Israeli leader would not be arrested in, quote, any way, shape, or form while in the U.S. Martha.
You know, the whole thing with this guy, and it's getting, I don't know if he's going to make it out of New York. I don't know how long it's going to take, but the more he keeps talking, the more he keeps saying this stuff, I would not be surprised, SV, if if we find out one day he's no longer with us. You're messing with
that smile.
You're messing with way too many people. Way too many people. I mean, you're making a lot of enemies, and you don't have the budget for support and protection like a president does. You're trying to act like a little president, but you don't have it like that. And man,
he's not very bright too without somebody talking in his ear.
No.
I just sent you a cut. Scott Bessent just went 43 seconds. He spoke at the podium.
He was at the event just a second ago. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He spoke for more than 47 seconds. He spoke for about 5 minutes.
No, it's a cut.
Let me just grab this cut and download it. Yeah, SV, I just don't feel like Mandami is going to make it. I mean, it's just, I know some people from New York. I know how these people think, and they don't. I don't want to say it, but I think you know what I mean.
I know. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm sure he's got some good security details. Funny that he has that, right?
And the thing with the people he hangs out with, they can be bought. So that's the other thing. I mean, these guys will turn their head, and if they have to sacrifice him, they will. All right, here's Scott Bessent at the rally a few minutes ago.
Policies like Trump accounts. But my own sense of his place in history is already clear. Donald J. Trump is the most consequential president of my lifetime. And I can tell you all share my excitement in welcoming him here to Georgia today. So for everyone in this audience, especially the young people, know that President Trump is creating assets for the American people, not more debt and broken promises. He's creating assets.
So it's interesting because a lot of those kids probably their parents have opened them up Trump accounts, so they probably understand it completely. But I saw the video where he but he got off the plane, so he's there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start some content, so we're not sitting here trying to fill content with nothing, and then we'll cut back to him. I have
in the shadows.
I've got a nice fun piece. Yesterday, as you know, Pete Hegseth was there with the senators, and they had their that hearing that they called it. And nobody wanted to wait and watch this entire 5-hour thing. But I got a short compilation for you. I think you guys will enjoy it. And then we can come back and talk to it. And if President Trump comes up, I will cut. But I had a little fun with this.
You may know him as Pete, a mere mortal man. But in reality, he is Sir Hegseth, the slayer of libtards.
It's true. Was it obliterated or wasn't it? What's the status?
The nuclear sites under Midnight Hammer were obliterated, but Iranians foolishly continued to attempt to pursue nuclear capabilities, which is why we destroyed their defense industrial base and so many of the other capabilities to ensure they can't get to a nuclear weapon. See, we're staying laser focused on the objective, and you're trying to make campaign commercials.
No, we're not.
Oh, he was not taking anything from these people. He was indeed Sir Hegseth, the libtard slayer. Oh, you're going to love some of this stuff. The way he comes back at these people as they're trying to make their, as he said, political campaign commercials. Yeah, not so fast. I'm going to come back at you. I am savvy. I am used to talking on television. And he's letting these guys know, I'm not going to play your game.
Fine.
So listen to this. You also say that you made the missile program, quote, destroyed and made combat ineffective, quote, Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity, every company that builds every component of those missiles has been functionally defeated and destroyed, and that the missile program, existing stockpiles were depleted and decimated, almost completely ineffective. So why are there missiles left to hit Jordan and result in the loss of life of our brave men and women?
As we stated from the beginning, the Iranian defense industrial base is effectively gone. But they do have underground facilities because they're the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, and they've spent 47 years trying to hide their missiles under mountains, just like their nuclear capabilities, because they would like to get a nuclear weapon to wield it against us.
Of the war to believe, because it's either over or it's not over. It's within 2 weeks or it's not 2 weeks. We have no missiles or we have missiles, and that consternation is why so many New Yorkers are perplexed, stressed out, and find this war to be incredibly unpopular because they don't understand the choices that the president's making. They don't agree with those choices.
Who says? Now, the choices that we look at, and one of the reasons why we see things the way they are, is we want them to go faster. These people are in a catch-22 situation. They're hoping, they really are hoping we lose. Ain't gonna happen. They really are hoping that more soldiers get unalived. They like that. And if or when President Trump drops the big ones on these guys, they're going to love that too. It's a catch-22 situation. It just gives them more and more to, bitch about.
Well, Senator, I obviously don't agree with your characterization of that.
I appreciate that, but you didn't ask. But I want you to answer my question. I know you don't agree with my characterization. I don't agree with yours either.
Well, one of the reasons I take issue with that characterization is something that Senator Durbin said when he talked about Ukraine and he talked about winning. And I appreciate as much as anybody winning a war. But I sit in front of a committee that wants to talk about winning a war that's been going on for 4 years and talks about strategic defeat of a conflict that's been going on for 4 months to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb. I would hope for some perspective in this town of the historic nature of what President Trump is undertaking. Do you want radical Islamists to have a nuclear bomb
I don't want to hear your speech
world?
because I have limited time.
I don't understand.
You can't answer my question, then I will move on to my next question.
I don't want to hear your answers. I'm not here to hear what you have to say. I am here just to spew. And they're not ready for the response, the retort of Pete Hegseth.
You've talked a lot about winning. You've talked about winning in your testimony today. You've talked about winning throughout the Iran war, and we all like winning. But I think the American people deserve a definition of what it means to win in Iran, because this war has dragged out for a lot longer than certainly the President of the United States indicated. Indeed, the President said on March 24th, and I'm quoting, "We've won this war. This war has been won." Do you know what the President meant by that back in March?
Well, Senator, I would just note that militarily, Iran has been completely overmatched and crushed from the beginning, militarily. Their capabilities are nowhere near ours. I would take issue with your characterization that we started this war. Iran started this war 47 years ago, and they've killed thousands of Americans, including our brothers on the battlefield in Iraq. Iran has been targeting us for a long time.
I don't understand why the Democrats ask the questions that they don't want the answer to. This is supposed to be a two-way thing. You ask me a question, I'm going to give you an answer. You don't like the answer, don't ask the question. And as soon as he begins talking, they all just want to shut him up. That's why I don't like covering these things live, because they're dog and pony shows. But I loved it when I went back and checked and just watched as he swatted these people.
This incredible effort is a failure, is reckless. And I think it's irresponsible. And I think it smears the sacrifice of the troops that are out there making on behalf of the American people to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Shame on you and others who call this a quagmire and a failure, and then you want to turn around and say you support the warfighter. Either you do or you don't.
Is the nuclear material still there,
I can get you a ticket out to CENTCOM and talk to what those Americans are doing and how committed they are to this effort and how they want to ensure that Iran never threatens their families with a nuclear weapon. That's the kind of intensity that our warfighters have about making sure that Iran isn't capable of doing that.
Secretary Hegseth, if you listen to my comments, you would have heard me say how
okay, this guy loses his crap. He absolutely comes unglued.
Amazing our warfighters are.
I heard failure. And the word heard. I heard exactly what you said.
I will tell you how I use the word failure, because I use the word failure to their leaders. You, sir, are the failure.
They just decided to pretend like that technology didn't exist and we shouldn't invest in it. There are things, I don't know what Lloyd Austin did for 4 years. I really don't.
Well, I'm sure
The amount of neglect, the amount of stale thinking and bureaucracy was staggering when we took over. So one big beautiful bill gave us a chance to get caught back up.
Let me interrupt your speech for a minute, Mr. Secretary. It's my turn to ask questions. I've been listening patiently while you made your presentation. You estimated at one point that the cost of the war in Iran was 20
constituents why this war is going so well.
I think you did accurately portray me as a reformed neocon, and members of our generation in Iraq and Afghanistan watched administrations on both sides try to project some remaking of a society in the image of America that spent thousands of lives. I mean, in Iraq, 15, I don't know the exact number, but tens of thousands between Iraq and Afghanistan, men and women lost. President Trump said we're not fighting stupid wars like that again. And he hasn't. That's why we haven't been trying to remake Iranian society, but simply in a realist, America first way, ensure they never have a path to a nuclear bomb, full stop. And he has said as a candidate, and he said as a private citizen, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon because radical Islamists with nuclear weapon will wield it over our head in perpetuity.
Secretary,
so President Trump ran on fighting wars differently, and we're doing so overwhelmingly. And he was very clear as a candidate that Iran can never have a nuclear capability. So I think he's directly on par with exactly what he said he wanted. American.
Let me get a question back in here. It's all theater. They don't want to know the answers. They're wasting everybody's time. We know they're going to get the money. It's just so they can make their little TikTok clips and whatever, because everything is fake. And I love that woman from Lindell TV, she keeps chasing these people down. You have an opportunity. Here's a microphone and just got to run, because all of this is scripted. And the problem that they're having right now is that here's somebody who is television and broadcast savvy. He understands what they're doing. He can think quick on his feet. He can give them a quick retort. And that's not what they want at all.
Men and women, as opposed to Ukrainian men and women, is a higher priority for the United States Senate. So 5 supplementals that went to Ukraine, as good as that cause may be, why is that righteous to do? But funding troops in harm's way right now, given the threat and what they're undertaking, this is a partisan exercise.
And I wish he had said to them, how many of you got some sort of kickback from Ukraine? I know he has to pay certain decorum and he can't go there, but that's why they were so interested in having all that money go to Ukraine. This can't be of any doubt at this point. Hey, keep giving more money to Ukraine. Why? Why do you want so much money going to Zelensky? But now our own guys, no, we're going to have to watch what we give you. Why? Why? Did anybody asking that? Well, Pete just did.
It's hypocrisy. And I appreciate you pointing it out. Not fully funding this department, the Department of War. And we know what that means, that means 1.5 trillion. Given the world that we live in and the disaster of what the Biden administration budgets gave us, not funding this department at 1.5 trillion, I believe, is the greatest threat that our nation faces. Either we invest in our warriors at this moment of step change on the battlefield and growing threats, or this is all just talk. One of the reasons I take issue with that characterization is something that Senator Durbin said when he talked about Ukraine and he talked about winning. And I appreciate as much as anybody winning a war. But I sit in front of a committee that wants to talk about winning a war that's been going on for 4 years and talks about strategic defeat of a conflict that's been going on for 4 months to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb. I would hope for some perspective in this town of the historic nature of what President Trump is undertaking. Do you want radical Islamists to have a nuclear bomb that can stare down the world?
I don't want to hear. We don't want to hear this. Are you serious? I'm talking to you about the money you've been spending for years in Ukraine, that over and over, every time Zelensky needed more money, you guys just kept sending money all throughout the Biden years, as much money as they needed in Ukraine. And now I'm asking you to fund our own people, and you actually are on television telling the world, I don't want to hear it. How can this woman get elected? How can she possibly get elected by anybody in her district? I think her name is Senator Shaheen, I believe, from New Hampshire. New Hampshire, what the hell are you thinking? You have a woman sitting there as a senator telling everybody, I don't really want to hear what you have to say about our soldiers. Wow.
On day 14 of this conflict, Mr. Secretary, day 14, nearly 5 months ago, you stated that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. That was on day 14 of the war. Was that an accurate statement?
They didn't have a Navy any longer. It's completely sunk. Their missiles were buried underneath a lot of their underground facilities, and their defense industrial base has been almost completely destroyed. So as far as a military assessment of Iran's capabilities, it didn't mean by any stretch of the imagination absolute zero, but their capabilities are at the lowest level.
All right, so Pete answers his question. I think he gave a substantive answer. So John Ossoff, who sounds like he's a droid that Elon put together, he's going to completely ignore what Pete Hegseth said. And what do you think he's going to do? Ask the exact same question. Dude, get some iced tea, do something, get a B12 shot, but you just can't sit there and just say the same thing over and over again.
You stated that on day 14 of this conflict, in the second week of the conflict, you stated that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. Was that an accurate statement?
That wasn't a rewind. He literally read the question, didn't even look up, listened to Pete Hegseth say the answer, waited until Pete Hegseth said the answer, and said the exact same question without ever looking up from his index card. Like a droid, like some sort of robot. Like, did you not hear me? What part did you not get? I just answered the exact same question.
Yes or no?
Iran's ability to challenge the United States of America at the level at which we're capable of.
That's not what I asked you, Mr. Secretary. You said on day 14, Iran's military had been...
Third time. Reading it, not even, I mean, look at the guy's
Quote.
face. He's not even looking up. He won't even face him. I mean, the disrespect is just oozing from him, and also his incompetence, because you can't even speak without reading word for word off of a piece of paper and then getting an answer and then just reading it once again.
Destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. Yes or no, was that an accurate statement?
What the American military has done to the Iranian military is a historic military defeat, and they're ineffective in that context.
3 weeks later, you declared victory. That was now nearly 4 months ago. 3 weeks after you'd already said Iran's military was destroyed and combat ineffective, you said, quote, Operation Epic Fury was a historic and overwhelming victory. You said Iran's military had been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come. And you stated we had, quote, achieved every single objective. Were those accurate statements?
It certainly was, on behalf of the men and women in uniform, a historic military victory over Iran.
Had Iran's military been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years?
He just answered you. I mean, you're literally asking the same question. They got no boats. They have no airplanes. What would you call that?
Years to come. That was a statement that you made 4 months ago.
They had 160 naval vessels in the Blue Water Navy, and they're gone. Their Air Force is completely combat ineffective, and they don't have a defense industrial base. So describe to me a country that doesn't have an Air Force, a Navy, or a defense industrial base.
What would you call it? If the country no longer has an Air Force, and no longer has a Navy, and no longer has a capacity to build planes or boats, that would pretty much make it the definition of ineffective. That would pretty much make it the definition of they ain't got none anymore. So I don't even know what question he wants answered. Would you call that ineffective? Yeah, pretty much I would. There's nothing left. Yeah, there's some guys riding around in Humvees and speedboats doing launching stuff, but they don't have anything else. What are you talking about? It's embarrassing as an American, absolutely embarrassing to even hear this kind of stuff.
will describe to you a country that does not have an effective
Mr.
military.
Secretary, you
It
stated,
can lob missiles.
Mr. Secretary, you stated
missiles,
4
but it's
months
not a
ago
combat
that
effective
Iran's
military.
military had been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come. Has Iran's military been for the last 4 months combat ineffective?
It's been set back not just years, but likely decades.
You stated we had, quote,
I mean, you guys are watching. Tell me what answer he's looking for. Has it been rendered ineffective? I'm like, they don't have anything. I'm going to take a real objective perspective here. Can you guys take an objective perspective for a second and think to yourself, what is he asking? Well, if they got no boats, they got no airplanes, and they have no way to manufacture any airplanes or boats, isn't that the very definition of ineffective, rendered useless? It doesn't make any sense. I don't even know why he was taking the time to ask the same question over and over.
At the level it did before, and not even close. It doesn't mean it doesn't have capabilities.
Mr. Secretary, you stated we had, quote, achieved every single objective. Was that an accurate statement 4 months ago?
The main objective of this was to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Their main sites were obliterated. We're watching over them, and we're holding them at issue. If they don't give them up at the table, there's other ways we can take them away.
Early in the conflict
Iran will
on
never
day
have a
3,
nuclear
Mr.
weapon.
Secretary, early in the conflict, day 3, you said one of those core objectives was to, quote, destroy the missile threat. And as you restated on day 5, to, quote, obliterate Iran's missiles and drones. Those were clearly and repeatedly stated core objectives of the campaign, which 4 months ago you declared had been completed victoriously with every single objective achieved. Were those objectives achieved 4 months ago?
No one ever stated that every single missile was gone. Ultimately, combat ineffective means they're not able to dig them out of their UGFs and shoot
Had
at
the
us.
missile
It
threat
doesn't mean they
been-
don't.
Georgia, you got to be embarrassed. You have a droid for a senator who just keeps asking the same stuff, hoping to catch him up. And everybody watching this goes, yeah, there's a couple rogue guys running around, but the country, the military that doesn't exist? What in the hell are you talking about?
Have underground facilities where they put missiles in them and hold on to them because they're the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. So we never expected they would stop having capabilities to shoot. The question is at scale against an opponent like the United States of America, which went toe-to-toe with them and Iran couldn't.
You stated on March 8th, day 9 of the war on 60 Minutes, you assured the American people of Iranian surrender. Does that remain your prediction?
Ultimately, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon to threaten the United States of America. That has been the objective, and it remains so.
You may know him as Pete, a mere mortal man, but in reality, he is Sir Hegseth, the slayer of libtards.
Oh, I had fun putting that together. Oh, it's ridiculous. I just saved you 4 or 5 hours of watching the hearing. It's over. Oh my goodness. And they will get the money. I don't have any doubt that they're going to get funded. And so you have to ask yourself, what were these people, what were they even thinking? President Trump has not walked out as of yet, obviously, or we would have cut immediately to it. So we're just waiting. By the way, my feed has a very close shot. Like this is the feed that I have. My feed is very, very tight. So you can't really see the crowd. This is the Fox feed, which I may use. Look at the size of this crowd out of high school.
Because they're providing people access. For the longest time, Democrats said that
it's got the side balconies. You know, it's pretty big how they've set this up. Probably, I would say 3,000-4,000 people in there, maybe more. Who knows how many people are outside? But any minute, yeah, he should be coming out. He's only half hour late, so that's not really bad. SV, while we're waiting for him, you got anything else?
Yeah, I just sent you one story, a quick one about Andy Ogles. He's being praised for dropping a banger of an item here. So let me bring it up on your screen, or you could bring it up.
Yep.
All right. So he's being praised for dropping this banger after dozens of House Republicans push to give illegal alien farm workers amnesty and legislation. There is a crazy push to give amnesty to illegals. Well, I say no, absolutely not. You came here illegally. It's time to go. I will never, never support amnesty. Kill the amnesty bill.
All right. So let me go ahead.
He's got a 2-minute cut.
Yeah, I'll bring it in real quick. This is for all the. Never mind. I'm not going to say. I'm going to be nice and just let it go.
I'm towing the line here. I know where you're going, Byron.
All right, here's the video.
Crazy push to give amnesty to illegals. Well, I say no, absolutely not. You came here illegally. It's time to go. And I will never, never support amnesty.
Congressman Andy Ogles pushing back against a GOP-backed bill that will let undocumented agricultural workers get temporary legal status through the H-2A program without a path to citizenship. Now, without the agricultural workers, farm state Republicans are warning of labor shortages and food supply risks. But is temporary legal status for undocumented farm workers smart policy or disguised amnesty? Well, here to talk to us, we are pleased to bring in Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles, a member of the House Financial Services Committee and a member of the House Committee on Homeland Security. You know, when this was first introduced, a lot of people said, what's up with that? Talk to us about why some are saying this really is amnesty in disguise and no one's calling it out.
Yeah, absolutely. By giving them a legal status without comprehensive reform, it becomes a gateway or a pathway to citizenship. So we have a lot of work to do on immigration. Look, we know the immigration system is broken. That's why I carry most of the legislation on immigration, fixing immigration. But as we have this conversation, there can be no amnesty as part of that conversation. Look, if you want to get a work visa, that's one thing. But you also have to understand that if you want to become a citizen, you need to go back to your country and you need to apply the right way and you need to stand in line like everyone else.
Let's talk about what you have introduced, Congressman Ogles, and it is called the Anchors Away Act. It would end birth tourism, which...
Well, better learn how to eat your dinner and stuff without lettuce. I looked up, by the way, let me tell you guys, I looked up, I had to find out what, because I always say these are jobs that Americans won't do. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what if we made it that you had to do it? If you can't just say, I don't feel like working because I don't want to pick lettuce and strawberries, but the average migrant picker, I'll call that the name of it, they make about 25 grand a year. Not a whole lot of money, but it's better than a welfare check. Hey, SV, guess what?
Going live? We're live.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's a special place, and I am here to announce my candidacy. I'm only kidding. Nah, boy, I tell you what a group. We have thousands of people outside on a weekday. The weather's nice, but we're in Marietta. We're in Atlanta, right by it. And I just want to thank everybody. Those are places, we had a tremendous victory here. And it was a big, beautiful victory. We won by a lot. And we have some great candidates running. They got to win by a lot. Otherwise, we're going communist. I don't think anybody wants that. We're not going to do that. But I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of Georgia with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. And with your help in 2024, we earned more votes than any candidate in Georgia history. There's never been anything like it. And when I say that, I have to be careful because look at all the fake news back there. They will correct me. They will say, he said he earned more. If I was 2 votes short, they would say, he's lying. They are sick individuals. They're the fake news. But I have to be careful. No, we weren't. We had more votes than any candidate in the history of this great state. And I'm very proud. I love Georgia. I've always loved it. And every day since, I've been fighting for the people of Georgia like no president has ever fought before. And you're doing well, too. We're going to keep it that way. And 18 months ago, you were in trouble. Our country was in trouble, frankly. It was a catastrophe what was happening. Sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats, they're Democrats, D-U-M, Democrats, created the worst inflation in 48 years. Scott Bessent, was it the worst inflation in 48? Now, if Scott doesn't have credibility, nobody does, okay? He said it's the worst, and it was. It was actually, I think it was beyond 48 years, but 48 years is good enough. Wide open borders with millions of people, even from the world's worst prisons from all over the world. They were pouring into our country. All over the globe they came, prisons and gang members, drug dealers, child predators, and 11,888 murderers, many of whom committed more than one murder. More than 50% committed more than one murder. We had transgender for everybody. Men and women's sports came ravaging through our cities. And the whole world was laughing at us. We were a joke all over the world, but not anymore. They're not laughing. They're not laughing. Right, Jackson? They're not laughing anymore, Jackson. Gonna be your next governor right here. 2 years ago, our country was dead, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world, respected by everybody all over the world, the hottest. And we're respected like, I say we respected maybe like never before. When I took office, we inherited the worst border in U.S. history. It was an open wound. It was an open sieve. We quickly turned it into the most secure border in the history of our country within 2 months. And numbers were just released by the Democrats that in the past 14 months, a historic record of 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States. And now our crime numbers are among the lowest they've ever been. It's plummeting downward, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nationwide crime has been the lowest numbers that we've had in many, many decades. Last year, we achieved the largest drop in the murder rate ever recorded to the lowest level in 125 years. That's since 1900. That's before my father was born. Before my father was born, think of it, from the year 1900, lowest murder rate and that's despite the fact that we had millions of people poured into our country who were, in many cases, very, very dangerous people. We cut the flow of fentanyl across our border by 67%. And drugs coming in by ocean, sea, by water was cut 97%. We're trying to figure out who the 3% are because they are among the bravest people anywhere in the world. You've seen that. They are the bravest people in history, I believe. We're making the largest ever investment in the United States Armed Forces, and we've got the strongest and most powerful military anywhere in the world by far. There's nobody close. And I built it during my first term. I built our military. And as you know, they stupidly gave a lot of it away, but actually it was a lot, but it was small compared to what we built. But they gave a lot of it away to the Taliban, to Afghanistan. They gave it away. Just take it. We're leaving. Let's leave brand new machines behind. Let's leave airplanes behind. I said to him, well, what if you just fly it out and we'll take it back, or we can even fly it back to the United States if you'd like. Sir, I think it's cheaper to leave it. Brand new planes. It was so sad. I saw what was happening. What a disgusting thing took place. But we then, as you know, we won Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We're getting along great with them. One day. And we've already paid for that operation many, many times over. We're taking tremendous amounts of oil, and they're taking tremendous amounts of oil. It's a partnership, in a sense. They're doing a great job. We're working together. And millions of barrels of oil is going to Houston and Louisiana. coming to you indirectly after it's refined. They're refining it there. But millions and millions of barrels of oil, and also Venezuela is doing better than they've ever done before, too. The big oil companies are going in, and they're signing up. We have Chris Wright working on it, Doug Burgum working on it, Scott is working on them, and it's been incredible, actually, it's got serious oil. In fact, if you combine us and Venezuela, we have about 62% of the world's oil market. So we don't need straits, we don't need anything. We don't need the Hormuz Strait, but we do it because we have to do it, because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. So we're likewise winning in the Islamic Republic of Iran, and we're ensuring that they will never, ever be able to do to us what they've done to so many. You know, they've killed 52,000 plus protesters. People that were protesting have been killed. 52,000 over the last 4 months. Nobody wants to talk about the fake news back there, never mentions that. And I just left Dover Air Force Base, which is an incredible place, but oftentimes very sad, because that's when they bring the bodies of our great heroes, our great patriots, warriors. They bring them back to Dover. And I've been there many times before. This was in particular something very sad. I attended the dignified transfer ceremony for 4 great U.S. service members killed in the conflict with Iran. As they returned to American soil at Dover. And one of the families happened to be traveling to Georgia. Beautiful family, beautiful wife and husband and brother-in-law. And I said, I'm going to Georgia too. Where are you going? She said, well, after this, sir, they lost their beautiful son. We're going to Georgia. I said, so if you want, I'll give you a ride on Air Force One. And they said, wow, wow. So today, I then said they were on Air Force One, and it's quite nice, I must say. And they said, wow, this is something, thank you so much. But they're heartbroken, you know, they're heartbroken. But they couldn't believe it. And they live very close to here. They live minutes away. And we're here today, and I said to them, celebrating the memory of their beautiful, this was a beautiful son. You know, I read, when I go to Dover, I read charts on all of the young people, and some are unbelievable. Some are a little bit, you know, they got a little bit of a couple of little bad things put in. This is a son who was like a flawless, perfect person, beautiful, beautiful son, handsome in every way, brilliant, respected by everybody. His sheet read so beautifully, and I told them that their beloved son, and it's his name was Lieutenant Tyler Feehan, and he was a person that was going all the way. He was going to be a general. He would have been a general very quickly. He was heading in that path. But I just want to thank Tyler's mother, Sherry, his father, Stephen, and his uncle, David, great people. I got to know them a little bit on the plane, and standing there watching this sight, which is, it's very, very tough to watch, to be honest with you. Very tough. I think it's the toughest thing I do. Of anything I do all this stuff, but I think it's the toughest thing I do. But to Sherry and Stephen and David, we will carry Tyler's memory in our hearts forever. And I just want to thank you. It's an honor to have you here today. Please. Thank you very much. You see the way everybody feels. Your neighborhood, this is your neighborhood. Can you believe it? You see the way they feel. Thank you. Thank you, Sherry. He's looking down right here. He's so proud right now. So together we're making our country safer and stronger and far more successful than it's ever been before. And that's happening before your very eyes. That's why I call it the golden age. This is the golden age of America. We're building more plants than at any time in the history of our country. And not just AI and all of the different things you read about. Things like auto plants, you know, the old-fashioned way. Toyota just announced they're leaving Mexico and they're coming in. They're going to be building the largest plant anywhere in the world. They're all coming back. They're all leaving Canada. They're leaving Mexico. They're coming in from Germany and Japan and South Korea. They're coming in from all over. And people that have been doing this, people like Scott and others that have been doing this for a long time, they've never seen anything like it. I don't think you've ever seen anything like it. McGee, have you? You haven't seen anything. He's doing such a great job. In 4 long years of the sleepy Joe Biden administration, they got less than $1 trillion of new investment in our country. In 4 years, much less than $1 trillion. In less than 2 years, much less than 2 years, actually. In fact, at the end of the first year, but less than 2 years, in my administration, we've secured more than $19.2 trillion in new investment from all over the world. So think of that. So in 1 year, they did much less than $1 trillion of investment. We were losing this country, I'll tell you. And the welfare, you see all the theft that's going on. Guys are stealing $100 million. Some guy from the street steals $100 million. It's horrible. The welfare was going through the roof. The costs were going through the roof. It was a disaster taking place. But think of it. So they did less than $1 trillion in 1 full year. In 4 years, they did less. Think of this. In 4 years, they did less than $1 trillion. We did 19.2 in 15 months. Think of that. I mean, you know. The pharmaceutical company, we're bringing our pharmaceuticals, we learned that through COVID, we're bringing the pharmaceuticals back. But the big pharmaceutical company, UCB, is investing $2 billion to build its first ever American manufacturing plant right here in Gwinnett, Georgia. Gwinnett. Look at the front row Joes. I love these people. I love these people. I think there are about 283. I don't know what the hell they do. I think they make a lot of money, too. I'm hearing they're very rich. They follow us. It's a rock concert, right? You have a good time, right? Thank you. They've been with me right from the beginning. It's how many have you done so far, do you think? 4, 5, 6, close to 1,000. It might be. You think he's kidding? It might be. Well, we love you. Thank you very much. We love you guys. Thank you. We have groups. We have a group from, I don't know if they're here, but we have a group from North Carolina, women, beautiful women. They follow us, and they're at 218, I think. 219, they come, and I always say, what the hell are your husbands saying about this? This is crazy. They're these beautiful women. I think they're sort of a wealthy family. I don't know what the hell's going on with them. But, you know, like the front row Joes, it's good. We have a lot of those groups. They're just great. They've been with us right from the beginning. And you know why they're with us? Because they love our country. That's why they're with us. It's really why they're with us. So Japan is investing $600 million in a cutting-edge diamond processing facility, as you probably read this morning in your state. $600 million. Yamaha Motors is building its brand new U.S. headquarters in Kennesaw. And more money is being invested in the United States right now than at any time in the history of our country. And Americans are working today more so than ever before. We have more jobs today than we've ever had, and it's not even close. More people are working now than at any time in the history of our country. And the stock market has said, and that's with this skirmish we have going on. I call it a skirmish. This is with this skirmish we have with the Islamic Republic of Iran. And I call it that because let me tell you, they're getting hit so hard and they want to make a deal. But I say they're not ready to make a deal. Because every time they make a deal, they want to change it and everything. They're not ready. They'll be ready very soon. And this is despite this. It's going on. The stock market has hit 73 all-time highs since the election. Think of that. And the typical American's 401k is up by $34,000, setting records day after day. It's up by numbers that have never been seen before. So your 401ks, they always say, oh, the stock market. Stock market's very important. But I have people coming up to me that have 401ks. They said, you know, I was a disaster. My family wouldn't talk to me. They thought I was a total loser. And now I'm like, the one guy said, I feel like Warren Buffett. No, the markets are right through the roof. And it's a beautiful thing to watch, frankly. It's beautiful. It's brought families together. I mean, I told the story about a policeman in New York City. He said, my wife was really down on me because the 401k was a disaster, wasn't moving. And you get elected and it's, she thinks I'm the most brilliant financial mind in the world now. She loves me much more than she did. She's close, but you should never love for that reason. Remember that, please. And while the stock market is skyrocketing way up, inflation is way down. We're coming way down. And last week, it was announced just last week that inflation dropped by the largest amount in more than 6 years because we're doing it right. We're running the country properly. And they tried to blame high prices on me. So think of it. When I inherited this thing on January 20th, we had the highest inflation in many, many years, 48 years, they say. I say maybe ever. This is what I inherited. And when I had nothing to do with it. I walk into office, I have a press conference first or second day, and they're screaming at me, what are you going to do about high prices? Right? What are you going to do? I said, I just got here. What are we talking about? Tell me. Eggs have gone up 4 times. 4 times. I said, I just got here. Give me a break. They did. They hit me with the eggs then. You remember that? Kelly, you remember I got hit with the eggs. First day, first press conference, nice friendly press conference. You know, they treat me so nicely. What are you going to do about the prices? And they said, they used the word, first time I heard it, it was a word, made up by the Democrats. Affordability. They said, affordability. I said, I've been here 1 day. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. And we're taking care of it, we're taking good care of it. They had the highest prices. They had the highest prices. In fact, with the eggs, we have an Easter egg hunt like a few months after this, and they said, don't order eggs, sir, because they're so expensive. Use plastic eggs. They wanted me to give the kids. I said, nope, we're going to get it done. And we did a great job. Our Secretary of Agriculture did a great job, and we got the price now of eggs is lower than it was when we started, right? And many other things, too. And oil will be coming, it's going to be tumbling down. It was 3 weeks ago. They thought we had a deal. I said, I don't think we have a deal with these guys. They break every deal they make. But I said, but people thought the geniuses on Wall Street, they came down, really down, and goes back up a little bit. But it's going to come down maybe lower than when we even started. But just give me a little time. I always say, give me a little. I said to the farmers, give me a little time. And look how we're doing with the farmers. What's going on with the farms and everything. This country is rocking and rolling. So every day we're fighting to put more money back in the pockets of the hardworking American families. And that's why with the help of our incredible Republican majorities in Congress, we've done so much. I proudly signed the great, big, beautiful bill delivering the largest tax cuts in American history. Largest in American history. And we did big ones first. We had the best economy in history in my first term. A lot of people don't, because we had a COVID period all over the world, and we did a great job where they got no credit for it. We did Operation Warp Speed, and I'll tell you, we did a great job, but we got very little credit for it. We should have been given big credit, but we got credit for everything else. And we had the best economy, but this economy is ready to blow everything away, ever, of any country. There's never been anything like what's happening in the United States of America right now. So I just want you to remember that if you're paying a little bit more, a lot of it's come down now. We got it coming down very rapidly, actually. Look at the number just released. But it really would, we inherited something from Biden, and we're giving it back to you, thousands and thousands of dollars each family. We gave it to you also. Remember, forgetting about prices, and I don't want to forget about it. I would never leave a sentence like that, because they'll say, he said forget about prices. I said, despite anything you see, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. We gave you something that nobody ever thought of. This was my idea. I said, give people a deduction if they buy a car only that's made in America. Give them a deduction. They go out, borrow money. They're allowed to get a deduction. But this past filing season, 130,000 tipped workers right here in Georgia saved an average of more than $7,000 on their taxes, and that's because of no tax on tips. We're building a tremendous military facility at the White House. It's a ballroom, but it's also a big military facility, a drone port on top, and tremendous things underneath. And they've been working hard, a lot of overtime. They work till 11 o'clock in the evening, almost every evening, 11:30. They get there at 6 o'clock in the morning. They're really working. And the other day I went over to them and I said, gather together. And I had, hundreds of workers, very big thing it is. Beautiful. It's going to be incredible. It's an incredible project. It's a contribution to the United States of America by very wealthy people and very wealthy companies that it cost this country. But what happened is I said to all the workers, it was a Sunday and they were working on a Sunday. Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they should be in church. I don't know. I'll get them in trouble. But they were working on Sunday, and I said, remember this, no tax on overtime, all the overtime they're making. And they gave me a big cheer. No tax on overtime. As an example, 700,000 Georgia workers saved an average of over $3,000 thanks to no tax on overtime. And 500,000 Georgia seniors paid $0 on their Social Security benefits thanks to no tax on Social Security. But perhaps most consequential of all is the provision that the great big beautiful bill that we're celebrating today. It's something that's beautiful. It's beautiful because it takes care of our youth. It's called the Trump accounts, and it's hot as a pistol. It's hot as a pistol. And under this groundbreaking new policy, every American child gets a tax-free investment savings account that can grow over the course of their childhood and be used for them when they reach 18 or 21. Their parents, grandparents, employers, and loved ones can contribute up to $5,000 a year. And with the modest contribution, these accounts will reach hundreds of thousands of dollars for these young people by the time they get to, let's say 18, let's say 21. But by the time they're just young adults, they could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, most likely will be. And for decades, Washington politicians gave our children absolutely nothing but debt. But the Trump accounts, we're finally seeing and ensuring that every young American gets a great start in life and a really fair shot at the American dream, which is what we all want. They all aspire to that. And under the system, every newborn child gets $1,000 deposited in their Trump account at birth. Think of that, from the United States government. Think of that. The government is finally giving money back to our children. You think that was easy to get from the Democrats? Not easy. Actually, they didn't vote for it. They didn't. I don't think we got one vote. We got it a unanimous Republican vote. We didn't get any Democrat votes, I don't think. But they have a hard time justifying all of the things that they've done. But the government gives them $1,000 at birth, and from there it just goes up and up and up. And lots of people, like the employers, can put money into their children's accounts of the employees. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm seeing it. And again, over 7 million, and it really just started, I would say, Scott, a few weeks ago, because it was all of the very complex legal governmental things were worked out about 3-4 weeks ago. And we have over 7 million people already, children already. So that's great. And I want to just tell you that generous individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, Brad Gerstner, and so many others have donated billions of dollars to fund Trump accounts for millions of children. Some people are going to take the children from states, the entire state. Like Gerstner is looking at the state of Indiana, where he contributes the money for, these are wealthy people. They've made a lot of money. They're putting it back. But Michael and Susan, they're two special, incredible people. As an example, donated $6,250 million into the accounts for youth. They gave them for youth. Michael Dell, Susan Dell. $6,250 million. I have a friend, he gave $50 million. I said, that's peanuts. That's not even close to the $250 million that Michael Dell gave. I said, what are you doing? You can do better than that. But people are loving it. And you know what I say? Go out and buy a Dell computer, okay? Because as far as I'm concerned, that's great stuff. And the Trump Accounts app, for those that want, is now the #1 app in all of America. Isn't that nice for our youth? People are doing it. It just caught on. In the past 18 days, nearly $1.5 billion have been deposited into the Trump accounts. Think of that. The money is pouring in. And it's for children and all sorts of advantages and tax advantages for the people that do it and make this investment in our future, because it's really an investment in our future. And all you have to do is go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov, and sign your child up for a free investment account today, and the child gets $1,000 from the government. You think that was easy to do? That wasn't easy to do. Tell the Democrats you're giving everybody $1,000. But we're pleased to be joined by some of those incredible Georgia families benefiting from the Trump accounts, including Cole and Allison Loden and their 3-year-old beautiful child Ray, their 2-year-old Rex, and 3-month-old daughter Ren. And Cole and Allison met at Kennesaw State University, where he played football, and he was a cheerleader and a respected guy, good student. Now Cole is a project manager helping build data centers, and just this past April, they became the first home buyers. Cole and Allison bought their first home. So I just want to come up here for a second, Cole and Allison. Come up, say a few words, wherever you may be. Where are you? Come on up. Come on, don't worry about Secret Service. We've had people come up. One of them almost got beat up, and all they did was, I said, come on up. And they, oh, beautiful. Wow. That's so nice. Be careful. You can't fall like Sleepy Joe. You can't. Come on, say something. How are you? Hi, sweetheart. Oh, what?
Thank you, Mr. President, and the White House staff for allowing my family to be a part of this special event. It is truly an honor. Thank you, Mr. President, and your administration for the hard work and commitment that that made the Trump account possible. As a father, it's encouraging to know that our children's future can begin with an investment from day one. To every eligible new parent, I encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity by opening a Trump account for your child and continuing to invest in it each and every year. Mr. President, thank you for your continued commitment to investing in American families. And on behalf of my wife and me, Thank you for providing our children with a greater opportunity to pursue and achieve their American dream. Thank you, and God bless America.
Thank you very much, Cole. That's beautiful. Also with us are Dean and Gabrielle Fungawing and their 4 children, Elise, Jude, Isaiah, and Talia, who also have been very proudly members of the Trump accounts. And Dean and Gabrielle are both entrepreneurs who believe in teaching their children the importance of self-reliance. And it's happening. You know, people are watching the market now. They're watching how are the stocks doing, how's it going, and they're only going up, it looks like, and we're going to keep it that way. So Dean and Gabrielle, come on up for a second, please. Wow. Wow. Beautiful.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for this honor. My American story began when my parents brought our family from Suriname to this city in 1990. We attended local schools and college right here in Georgia. And in 2008, my wife and I lost our jobs just before learning we were expecting our first child. A friend taught me the appliance repair and service trade, and it changed our lives. Together, we built a company serving over 55,000 homes across the city. And then she fired me and made herself CEO. Later, I founded a technology startup, and that patented technology, along with our team, protects millions and millions of square feet of commercial real estate from water damage. Standing with me today are my wife and our 4 beautiful children. We opened Trump accounts for each of them, and because investing in the next generation strengthens the fabric of America. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, and God bless America, and God bless you. Are you ready?
She made that for Kai.
Beautiful people. Well, thank you all. Appreciate it. But while our administration is lifting up the next generation with the power of freedom and American capitalism, proven all over the world when it's done right, it's not always done right, but when it's done right, there's nothing like it. The radical left is actively trying to destroy our children's future with the disaster known as communism. It's communism. This isn't a social democrat. These are communists by another name, right? As I said in my recent address at Mount Rushmore recently, I don't know if anybody saw it, such a beautiful place. You know, the communists want to take it down. They tried taking Mount Rushmore down. They want to blow it up. They want to take it down. They shouldn't be up there. These people are crazy. But communism is, in my opinion, communism is the single greatest threat to our country and its history, including even World War I and World War II, Pearl Harbor, 9/11. I think it's the greatest threat that I've ever seen to our country. These people are stone cold crazy. And it is the enemy of the free people everywhere and everywhere in the world. You see it happening, and every time it starts to happen, the areas where it's at, whether it's blue states, you see the blue states are all going bad. They're all going bad because communism is a loser. The concept, the policy, it's a loser, and it always has been, and it always will be. And, you know, they want to give everyone everything away. You want free rent, you want free house, you want what they don't say is that a year from now, there'll be absolute squalor, turmoil, and death. And that's the way it's happened all the way. It goes back thousands of years by different names. But that's the way it happens all the time. It's squalor, it's poverty, it's death, it's destruction. And that's why we declare again today that the United States of America will never be a communist country. You know, remember during the State of the Union, I said that this country will never be a socialist country, remember? And I was right. They skipped socialism. They went right to communism. Georgia's a state that believes in common sense, and yet your terrible Senator, John Ossoff, he's terrible. And the Democrats in Congress are voting with the communists every single time. They're afraid of the communists. You look at it. Now, I fought Ossoff before, as you know, and we won. We had a great success against this guy. He reminds me of Pinky Herman. Did you ever see Pinky Herman? John Ossoff and the congressional Democrats voted against securing our border. They voted against our massive tax cuts that you have. They voted against the Trump accounts for your children. They want to raise your taxes by a lot, not lower them. We lowered your taxes. We gave you the greatest tax cut in the history of our country twice now. And they want to raise your taxes substantially. You know, I've been watching politics. I've been involved in politics in the other side, you know, for a long time. I've always found it interesting, fascinating, important. But I've never seen people say, ever, it's always politicians. I've watched great politicians. We will lower your taxes. They will always say, we will, even if they didn't mean it. They'd say, we will lower your taxes. These people say, we're going to raise your taxes. I've never heard it before. It's a new phenomena. It's a phenomenon. They voted against no tax on tips. They voted against no tax on overtime. They voted against no tax on Social Security for the seniors. They voted against voter ID. Can you believe that? Well, you saw what happened. They caught thousands of votes in New Jersey where illegal aliens were allowed to vote, thousands and thousands of votes. They voted in favor of the transgender mutilization of your children and in favor of men playing in women's sports. Isn't that lovely? They voted against lower energy prices, lower car prices, and bigger paychecks for everyone. They voted against every one of these things. John Ossoff and the Democrat communists want to let the Marxists into power, bankrupt your families, and leave you totally undefended with wide open borders, but we will not let that happen to our country. We're not going to let it happen. Right? So it's a very appropriate thing because I watch this man run and he's really phenomenal, actually. Because I like the other side, too. I was a big fan of the other side, too. Two good men, frankly, but I watched him run and it was amazing what he was able to do. Very, very successful guy, and he decided he wanted to be governor because he thought he could do some really incredible things for this state, more so than have been done. And I'm very pleased to be joined today by a true champion for the people. He just won, Georgia business leader Rick Jackson, who I'm told has a big announcement to make. I don't know what this is. Come on up here, Rick.
Well, thank you. Mr. President, what you're doing on the Trump accounts is for foster children will, change lives. I know because I said earlier that it changed my life when I got a $100 Christmas gift in an orphanage. That's why here in Georgia, we should not stop with $1,000. I want to announce when I become governor, I'm going to push the state of Georgia to match the federal contribution with another $1,000. And I believe our legislature will approve that. If they don't, I will personally donate it myself. Mr. President, you're fighting for Georgians every day for the state and what you're doing to lower costs. Media does not report this, but every day President Trump is bringing unbelievable amount of business solutions to government. Let me give you an example. Not long ago, I was meeting with Susie Wiles, who, in my opinion, is the best chief of staff in the modern history. But we were talking about America's antibiotics supply chain. And I told her we bought this last American plant in the United States in 21 because I didn't want China to leverage it on our president for trade. I told Susie something that every family should know. We produce one dose of amoxicillin for 7 cents. By the time it goes through all the middlemen, you pay $1. Susie looked at me and said, well, have you heard about Trump RX? And I said, she said, we're announcing it tomorrow to sell directly to from the manufacturer to the consumer. That's a business solution. That really brings down costs. When we bought this manufacturer of antibiotics, we wanted to change the name to U.S. Antibiotics, which I thought was a good name. So it took the Biden administration 7 months to approve our bottle logo where it had been for the entire 35 years. Then last summer, we wanted to bring out for our kids amoxicillin extended release. Under the Trump administration, we applied to have a new drug that hadn't been here in 25 years. Under his administration, it was approved in 60 days. 60 days. So, Mr. President, thanks for what you're doing. I wish the fake news would report all these great business things that you're doing. But that's what I'm going to be doing in Georgia. I'm going to bring business solutions to solve real problems. The other side talks about affordability as if that's a solution. Affordability is not a political problem. Affordability is a business problem. It requires business solutions, just like this man's been doing all his life. My opponent wants to cut down businesses and cancel them just because I visited a restaurant. Well, that's just wrong. We are not going to do that. And I'm going to make sure that Georgia is the best place to do business and reduce affordability to the lowest it's ever been. And I'm going to be this man's favorite governor.
Wow. He's going to be a great governor. He will be great. Thank you very much, Rick. We also have some true warriors with us, including State Senator Brian Strickland, who is running for the job of Attorney General. That's an important one. Well, get out and vote, and he's going to be fantastic. You have my complete and total endorsement, as you know, okay? And State Senator Greg Dolezal, and that he is a fantastic guy who's, as you know, running for lieutenant governor along with Rick. That's a pretty good. Where are you? There you are. Where are you? Oh, what a man he is. You have my complete endorsement. You know that. You had it before, but you have it now. Okay? Great luck. You won't need it. Yeah, everybody needs luck, but You're not going to need that much. Very talented people need luck too, but they don't need it that much. And State Representative Tim Fleming, who is running for Georgia Secretary of State. And they all have my complete and total endorsement. They're incredible people. Thank you very much. Thank you. Congratulations. I heard you had a great win. We also have State Representative Houston Gaines with us, who's a fantastic person, and he's running for Congress. And you already have my endorsement, and you already won your primary in record numbers, and now you have to go and beat a Democrat. Good luck. We'll be helping you, okay? Good luck. I want to thank as well, he was here, I didn't know he was going to be here, Treasury Secretary, I think he's going to go down as the best ever, Scott Bessent. That's good, Scott. Don't make him too popular. I won't like him anymore. That's very good. Secretary of Education, a woman who's absolutely incredible. She's moving education back to the States. Linda McMahon. And she's phenomenal. She's getting it back to the States so the parents can run the education. And I met your school board people. They were really great people, but you know, they want to work with the parents, and that's what we're doing. And Linda, you are doing some great job. She's moving it back. Not easy. Not easy. That's years and years of turmoil that went trying to do it. She just gets it done. This woman is incredible. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Another great person and great administrator, a woman who's really smart. Everybody loves her. Everybody respects her. And she runs a thing called small business, but small business, when you add it all up, is probably bigger than any bank in the world, right? Kelly Loeffler, and you're here with Jeff. Jeff, stand up. Thank you. Great job, Kel. Treasurer of the United States, a man who was a senator here, and he was so ahead of everybody. He was so great. I said, "You want to be treasurer?" And he said, "I'd like to be treasurer. That'd be good." He's a great man. He's a person that loves Georgia like a lot. And it was not easy for him to take the other job, but he gets here. I'm sure he gets here plenty, but he loves Georgia. Brandon Beach. Brandon. Cobb County School Superintendent Chris Ragsdale with a beautiful family. With a beautiful family. And we have a man named Ralph Reed. Have you heard of Ralph Reed? Ralph Reed. He is a man that, with his group, a great religious leader, maybe the greatest religious leader, but with his group, is it 10 million doorbells you hit? And this was certified stuff. 10 million doorbells. He pressed 10, not personally, but he pressed a lot of them himself. And they wanted to make sure we had a big victory it's almost a couple of years ago, 18 months. And I just want to thank Ralph Reed. Thank you very much, Ralph. Thank you. Great job. Great leader. And one of the best lawyers in the country, a friend of mine. He's really incredible, and he's really based out of Georgia. He spends a lot of his time in Atlanta. David Schoen. Where's David? There's David. Hi, David. He's a great lawyer. You got a problem, go to David. Thank you, David. And Alveda King. So Alveda was with me from day one. Where's Alveda? She was with me. She was with me from day one when it was not at all fashionable. She was taking more grief, Alveda, but she knew what she was doing, and now she's like the queen of the world, right? Look at her. Thank you, darling. We appreciated it. You always like those people when it wasn't fashionable, like Front Row Joe's. It wasn't fashionable, like the ladies from North Carolina, which maybe it wasn't fashionable. Well, they had a good time at least. But these are great people. Thank you all. Thank you all. Great group. And you guys get yourselves elected, please. I also want to thank a man who had to stay back in Washington to vote for making America great again. Maybe the most important man in this room right now is not here. His name is Mike Collins, and he's going to beat Pee Wee Herman. And the reason he's not here is me. He wanted to be here. They wanted to change. I said, don't change. Mike's not here, and it is my fault because we have a very big vote coming up on the military, farming, and other important things in a little while. It's going to be a little while. And I got to have Mike in Congress because he's like maybe the most, but certainly one of the most highly respected congressmen, Republican or Democrat, in Washington. Mike Collins is an amazingly respected man. He got the look, he's got the whole deal. And I said, Mike, I'm sort of here because of you. I said, Mike, if you're here, I'm going to be extremely upset with you because he has to vote. And, you know, it's razor thin. We lose all the Democrat votes on all these things. Think of it, tax cuts, biggest tax cuts in history they vote against. They vote against everything. Because you know why? They have Trump derangement syndrome, that's why. But I hope you're going to vote for Mike, and you've got to vote for him because he's running against, I call him Pee Wee Herman. He's Pee Wee Herman lookalike. You know, I don't know, people don't know this, but I beat him once before as a congressional candidate. Does anybody know that? He ran for Congress a number of years ago. I got involved in the race at the request of a friend of mine from Georgia because they didn't like him, and he was easily winning. He was winning by 25 points, and there were 5 people in the race, and he was way up. He was above 50. If you get above 50, you get it. And I backed a person, Karen, you probably remember. Didn't know her at all, but I thought anybody would be better than this guy. And he went from 70 to, believe it or not, 49.9. And that meant he was now in a runoff. So he thought he had it made. And he was in a runoff. And I got involved a little bit. I came here twice. I did a couple of rallies, and she ended up winning the race. He lost. But I have to hand it to him because instead of being a congressman, he later on became a senator. If he was a congressman, he probably wouldn't have run. Who knows? I gave him a little credit for that. But he was easy to beat. He wasn't, I can't believe that he's a senator and he's not respected at all in Washington. You don't even hear his name mentioned. You don't hear his name mentioned. I mean, I hear all the names. I hear all the bad ones and the good ones. I hear them all. But you don't hear his name mentioned. He's not even a factor. But you have a guy that is the most respected, just about one of the most respected people in Mike Collins. And I hope you're able to go out and really cast your vote for him. He will bring so much. They call it pork. We call it money. But he'll bring a lot of action back to your state. He's a great guy, and he loves your state, and he's worked hard. He's got the whole package. Mike Collins, vote for Mike. And he's hard at work. He's hard at work right now in Washington. And last but not least, we have the CEO of... So I like baseball. I like baseball. But this guy's done such a great job. You know, the Mets have the highest salary in baseball, and they lose all the time on Friday. And I say, maybe we could steal this guy. But the team, the way the Atlanta Braves has been managed for years, right? For years and years. And he's the CEO of the Atlanta Braves, Mike Plant. He's been, you know, you don't realize how good he is, you know? When you have one of these guys, there are teams like that, you know, where they never go down. Then you have other teams, we're rebuilding. They've been rebuilding for years. I don't want to mention teams because I know all the owners are all friends of mine. I get myself in trouble. But they're always rebuilding. We're rebuilding. This guy never rebuilds. He just stays at the top. He's amazing. And then he loses the best player. He loses a great first baseman. I would say great first baseman. And they keep going along. And they get things for the first baseman. And he was really good. Dodgers got him. But I watched the Braves for years, and they've done such a great job. So along with one of the best managers in baseball, Braves legend Brian Snitker, who was recently inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Brian, both of you come up. Would you both come up? Come on up here. They deserve a little credit. They deserve credit. I mean, I've suffered. I've suffered with teams for the years I've suffered. Oh, listen. They say you're not allowed to do that. Do it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome to Marietta. And as you can see, Braves country is a real thing. And you got a room full of Braves country right here. Mike and I presented President Trump with one of our 4th of July 250th anniversary jerseys that the team wore over that weekend. And I just wanted to tell President Trump that we're going to be back in Washington about a year from now. We're going to give him another world championship jersey. So thank you.
Well said, Snit. Mr. President, I just want to say when you're done throwing four-seam fastballs for the United States of America, come back and do it for the Atlanta Braves. Thank you.
That's a great team. Those two are a great team. No, it's true. You watch you suffer with these teams for years and years. And these guys, every year, they have a great team. So that's called talent. Some people have it, some people don't. Most people don't. But under the Trump administration, Georgia is prospering again and America is winning again because we finally have a president who puts America first. We put America first. And I'm so proud of it, under my most favored nation, if you look at our policy on drugs, we have a most favored nation policy, meaning of all the nations in the world, we have to get the most favored price. And it wasn't easy, and I'm not going to bore you by saying I had to get other nations to approve it. And I did threaten them with tariffs if they didn't approve it. And I threatened the drug companies. I threatened everybody to get this done. And no other president even tried because they said it was impossible to do. But we're delivering the largest prescription drug price cuts in history by a difference of 400, 500, and 600% reduction. So for decades, Americans paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. We were the highest price anywhere in the world. And now we're paying the lowest price anywhere in the world. And that has a huge impact on your healthcare costs, on everything. I'm very proud of it. Everybody said it couldn't be done. No other president even tried it because you had to get the drug companies, which is tough, but then you had to get the other nations to approve it, which is even tougher. So all you have to do now is go to TrumpRx.gov and you're going to get drugs for prices that you never believed. I mean, prices where they're 80%, 70%, 60%, 90% in one case I saw, lower. So go there and just get your drugs and at a minimum price them out and go to your store and see if they can match it. But I don't think anybody's going to match them. It's been amazing. Think of it. We went from the highest price 1 year ago, the highest price drugs anywhere in the world, like the fat drug. It cost, think of it. Think of it. It cost $1,400 in New York, and in London it was $87. Okay, I told you I have a friend of mine. He's fat as you never saw a guy like this. He's a very smart guy. Scott knows him very well. He's a great businessman, but highly neurotic, always eating. Eating, he does two things. He eats and he makes deals. And the eating he's not good at, other than quantity. But the making deals, he's very good. But he called me up because, I buy this fat drug. And now he calls me Mr. President. He used to call me Donnie. Donnie, I buy this fat drug. And in New York, I pay $1,400. And in London, I just paid $87. They said, you're so rich, how do you even know? He said, I don't know. My people told me that. And so he said, I went out and I had it checked. And it was from the same exact company, the same plant. It was actually made in the United States, the same everything. He said, what the hell kind of a deal? I'm paying like almost 10 times as much. I said, that's the system. But it really awoke in me. And I said, I got to do something about it because he's right. A pill that will sell for $10 in London or in Munich, $10 is selling for $100 or $120 for a pill in New York City or in Chicago, Los Angeles, or any other place. And I said, we got to do it. It's unfair. And I called up the drug companies, and they fought me, and then they said, you're right. You know, they had all sorts of excuses. Well, we have to do research. I said, well, you're doing research for other countries too, right? So they finally gave in under very, very tough time for them. And then they said, and they gave in because they never thought I'd get the countries to do it. And I called up France. I started with Emmanuel Macron. I said, Emmanuel, you must raise your drug price. Oh, Donald, why would I do that? Because we're paying too high, and you're paying too low, and we're going to meet somewhere in the middle. No, 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 Donald, I will not do that. Yes, you will. No, I won't, Donald. I will not do that, Donald. I said, yes, you will. And then finally he said no. I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a 200% tariff on every bottle of wine and champagne coming out of France. And he said, Scott was there, and he said, Donald, it would be my honor to do that. And we got France, so we got all of them the same way. That's too complicated. But we got it, and now we have favored nations, and we pay the lowest prices anywhere in the world from the highest prices. And that alone should win us the midterms, but it's not going to be that easy with the cheating and everything else that goes on. So make it too big to rig. Remember my statement, too big to rig? Make it too big to rig, and watch those machines. Every day we're liberating our communities from the scourge of migrant crime. In nearby Clayton County, Georgia, federal law enforcement recently charged an illegal alien murderer from Mexico who shot a man in the torso and then shot another twice in the heart and the head. In Boa County, ICE arrested an illegal alien who sexually assaulted an 11-year-old girl and held her 10-year-old sister at knife point for 1 week. John Ossoff and the Democrat communities, they voted to defund ICE and leave Georgia families at the mercy of the monstrous criminals that we're getting out of here. We're getting them out at record speed. And by the way, we always stand with the heroes, the patriots of ICE and Border Patrol. Always. They take such abuse, and they do their job. And our strong borders are really, it's a policy of helping to bring down the cost of living. It really is. It's under Biden, over 60% of the increase in housing rental. The rental cost demand came from the flood of illegal aliens coming into our country. The government would pay thousands of dollars a month for apartments for illegal aliens. But for our warriors, for our ex-servicemen, for people that served in our military for 20 years and 25 years, and then they couldn't get into an apartment. They were living in the street. They didn't do anything. But they took care of illegal aliens, paying thousands of dollars a month in some of the most luxurious hotels in the country. It's crazy what they were doing. It's crazy. But thanks to our policies, the cost of rent is now down by more than 10% in a short period in the Atlanta area compared to the peak of the border invasion. The border invasion, I mean, these people were occupying all the apartments that the government was paying, and they were never going to be great. They were never going to be, remember the word I made up, the caravans. They came in thousands and thousands came by caravan, and many murderers were in these caravans. To stop the massive theft of taxpayer dollars, including by the millions and millions, we have launched the war on fraud, led by Vice President J.D. Vance. He's doing a great job. We ended Medicaid for illegal immigrants, and we redirected $50 billion to make the largest investment in rural health in the history of our country. You're getting hospitals built in areas just like this that the Democrats would never do it. Number one, they said that's Trump country. We're not going to do anything. They wouldn't spend because we did. We got tremendous votes. In your whole state, we got tremendous. We won in a landslide. In just 18 months, we've turned this country around like nobody's ever seen before. Think of it. Our border is secure. Jobs are up. Inflation is way down. Factories are opening. Investment is pouring into our country. I told you, $19.2 trillion. Our military is more powerful than it has ever been before by far. You see that. Venezuela, Iran. America is back. It's stronger than ever before. And I'm telling you, it's only going one way. It's going up. As long as we keep our current thinking, our current system, it's going up. If you go the other way, nothing ever succeeds. I made the statement once, with communism, everything turns to shit, okay? It's true. Terrible thing. It's true. My wife hates it when I do that. She said, you were doing so nicely, and then you had to use a foul word. You know, Franklin Graham wrote me a letter. President Trump, I love your speeches. I think they're great. But, sir, if you wouldn't use foul language, the speeches would even be better. And I wrote him back. I said, actually, frankly, they wouldn't, you know. Because there's like no word that can replace that word with respect to the subject matter that we're talking about, right? But that's all right. But I try hard. I try hard to keep them clean. But it's true. With communism, everything turns. With the help of our Republican majorities in Congress, we will crush violent crime, impose harsh new penalties for dangerous repeat offenders, crack down on Marxist these prosecutors are so bad. They're so evil, what they do. And the rogue judges, you don't have a chance in front of these people. If Obama puts in a judge, I don't care how good your case is, you barely have a chance of victory. And nobody suffers it like I do. I get an Obama judge. First thing, who appointed the judge? Barack Hussein Obama. Oh, that's a problem. And we will end no cash bail. The real bad stuff, these guys, they get out, they kill somebody, they're let out, they kill somebody the same afternoon. We'll pass the Great Healthcare Plan. It's called our Great Healthcare Plan. That's the name of it, to stop all payments to big insurance companies and give the money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be much better, and you will save a lot of money. Because as you see, Obamacare is a total disaster. It's been a disaster. It's gone up through the roof. It's a total disaster. We want to spend the money. We want to give you the money directly. Buy your own health care. What's happening is these insurance companies take in billions and billions of dollars, and they don't give a damn about you. And you go out and you get crummy health care at a price that's unaffordable. So we want to give you the money, and you spend the money, and you go around and negotiate. You're going to have money left over. It's so much better, and you're going to have much better health care. And finally, we have to pass the Save America Act to defend American elections. And I have to say, Mike Johnson and Congress have done a great job, but we're having a hard time in the Senate. The Senate, what they're doing is it's just not right. Congress is going to pass it again. They passed it 3 times. They're going to pass it again. It's like the Senate is a place that you send things when you want them to die. We can't do this, and we're not going to take this any longer. We're not going to take it. You know, I'm trying to be nice, trying to be really nice. You saw we had a big victory last night in Arizona. I've had victories everywhere, but we're not going to be able to take it much longer. When they can't get past voter ID, proof of citizenship, no mail-in ballots because they're crooked as hell. So right now, Congress is working to get as much of our plan as possible into the budget bill to identify and really terminate. Look, what they should do? Very simple. A lot of you don't know about filibuster. They should terminate the filibuster and approve everything. Because the Democrats are going to do it. The Democrats are going to terminate the filibuster as soon as they have a chance. And then they're going to approve Puerto Rico and D.C. as a state. They got 4 more senators. They're going to end up with 12 more congressmen. They're going to get at like 40 electoral votes. If they are allowed to do that, by that time I'll be sitting home. And I'm not a big crier. I don't think you want to see me cry, you know? There are some people, they do very well when they cry. But you don't want to see me cry. But I may be crying when I'll be sitting home and I'll say, I told them they got to really terminate the filibuster, get everything approved right away. Because you're going to have a stoppage. You're going to have a stoppage in September. The Democrats won't approve everything. They become deranged, like deranged Jack Smith. Remember that deranged sick puppy? They're deranged, and they won't approve. You're going to have a shutdown in September. And in 2 years later, you have the debt ceiling bill. They would love it. I call it the 1929. You know what 1929 means? That was not a good year. And there's no reason for it. They should terminate the filibuster. Everybody call John Thune at the Senate. He's the leader of the Republican Party, and tell him to get this stuff approved. So we're fighting so that all voters must show voter ID. We're fighting so that all voters must provide proof of citizenship, okay? And also the no mail-in ballots, very important. And we're doing exceptions for illness, disability, military deployment, travel. If you're away and you have problems, we'll be very easy on that. Look, if you're away, if you're in the military, you want to vote, we want you to vote. But we'll also enshrine in permanent law no men in women's sports and no transgender surgery for your children. So, ladies and gentlemen of Georgia, the golden age of America is upon us. We are in the golden age. This is the greatest we'll ever be. And together, with your help and the patriots all across this magnificent land, we love our country. We will make America powerful again.
Here we go.
We will make America wealthy again.
Bingo.
We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you.
Said it again. I just got done talking to you guys yesterday about the whole prosperity and people being pissed off on the prosperity speaking. And I said at every one of his rallies for the last couple of years, make America healthy again, make America safe again. Make America wealthy again. Oh my God, don't talk about money, Barry. When you talk about money, it just freaks me out. It's disgusting. Well, you voted for the wrong damn guy. I mean, can we just say it right now? This entire speech was about prosperity. Younger kids' prosperity, older kids' prosperity, the country prosperity, and yet you got people like, I wish Barry wouldn't talk about prosperity too much. Too bad. I mean, come on. That's who we voted for. Here, let me show you. I saw this video. It was extremely funny. Then I'll have to go to SV. I want you to hear this because I posted this on my X feed, and it's so great because it exemplifies what I've been telling you. There is no affordable housing issue in this country. It's completely manufactured. It's BS. It's AstroTurf. You'll find out what the problem is in 30 seconds.
I'm looking for a simple, traditional house. It's always been my dream to have a 2-story house with 5 bedrooms. I'd also love for it to have lots of windows, tons of natural light, and a nice yard. If it has a pool, even better. And if it has a lake view, that would be perfect. The only thing is I need 100% financing because I don't have any money for a down payment. Right now, I'm making about $2,000 a month, depending on the month. And well, I wouldn't want the house to be more than $150,000 either. So yeah, let me know what you can find for me.
I'm hoping, SV, somewhere in my mind, that was AI or staged. But at the same time, Robin and I have gotten so many of those phone calls. Hey, I'd like to get a house on the beach. Yeah. I ain't got any money. I ain't got any credit, but I make about $2,000 a month. Wait a second. Are you muted or did I mute you? Hold on 1 second. It might have been me. It was me that time.
Yeah, me muted. Damn, I'm.
Five bedrooms, 3 bath with a pool, on the water.
$2,000?
I just want something like that. It's like the guy that was in the chat. What a universal basic income. How about you get your universal ass off the couch and go make your own basic income? How about that? Okay. I just can't.
Banished. This lady's going to need to twerk a lot more at her job.
Wow. I saw that and I said it to Robin, like, you won't believe this. And she's like, I got it. All right. So you got two stories here. I had a whole bunch more, but we're already at 2.5 hours. So I'm going to save that for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Dinner time.
Thursday. And then, hopefully we'll see what's her name, Caroline Levitt, with a press conference, so that I'm pretty much all set. So we'll finish with a couple of SV stories here. Oh my gosh, this was a long one. All right, talk to me about this.
Yes. All right. So in case anybody hasn't heard, because it was memory hold by the left media. Left media, there was no discussion about this story at all, because you'll see in a minute at the bottom. Anyway, a man from Ethiopia living in Minnesota is accused of executing 3 apartment employees. According to a probable cause statement, he later told investigators he hated the American system and blamed years of immigration delays for the collapse of his family before the deadly shooting. Prosecutors say 30-year-old
Good luck with that
illegal
one.
migrant Gabi Banusi walked into the leasing office of a St. Paul apartment complex after arguing over a parking garage contract, pulled out a handgun, and then fatally shot 3 employees. Surveillance video allegedly showed Banusi shooting 2 employees before walking into a back office where a 3rd employee, who appeared to be trying to escape through a window, was also unalived. Police recovered 21 spent 9mm shell casings at the scene. Investigators say Banuso later confessed to his roommate and was arrested hours later in northern Minnesota while allegedly driving one of the victim's vehicles. According to the complaint, he told investigators he had spent 7 years unsuccessfully trying to bring his wife and children from Ethiopia to the U.S., saying the prolonged immigration process contributed to his divorce, the loss of his business, and his deteriorating mental state. He later requested an attorney. When he was arrested, investigators say he had his U.S. passport, social security card, permit to carry a firearm, and an empty handgun magazine in his possession. Then there's the victim's names.
Wait. How did he get all that stuff?
Yeah, I was gonna say something about that, but show the picture of the guy. This is why it's not being discussed at all on any of the left media. Not one.
The punchline? And
look, there it is. Now, do the role reversal here, and the country would be on fire.
Wow. He lit up 3 people. And the whole thing down here was like he was mad because his divorce, his loss of business, and his deteriorating mental state. What are they trying to do? Set him up for an insanity defense? Saying,
sounds like it.
Yeah, the deteriorating mental. So everybody who goes through some adversity should just like whip out their Jimmy and start blasting. Oh my gosh.
His defense will be, didn't do nothing.
I didn't do nothing.
Didn't do nothing. Yeah.
All right. So now
anyway, that's a sad story there.
So now you got this.
And then
one.
this one here is it's Nick Shirley about an hour or so ago. So you can play the video after I read it here. But he's saying this is how the durable medical equipment DME fraud scam works. So people operate around adult daycares. They provide equipment for ghost clients, wheelchairs, knee braces, etc. And it's easier to open than a bank account. And then they bill Medicare for millions.
All right,
so he's going to talk about it below.
Yeah, let's listen in.
Here inside of these residential apartment complexes, we have some DME companies, durable medical equipment companies that receive money from New York Medicaid. And it's a bit fishy that they're operating inside of these residential apartment complexes. So we're gonna see what's going on. We have Premier, Lifeline, and Next Gen. They're all operating out of one apartment. Let's see what's going on. Hello, how's it going, ma'am? My name is Nick. Is Premier DME here?
DME?
Yeah. Yeah. Here, 3 durable medical equipment companies were launched within just a few months apart here, and that takes money from Medicaid.
No say. No say. Oh. Barry, you're muted. You're muted.
Tell me why, and I don't know at this point how old he is, maybe 22, 23. Why is he doing this and not Jake Tapper or Margaret Brennan or Kristen Welker? You know, people who have big media budgets. Why aren't they out there knocking on the doors and, hey, let's see who these people are? Because
it doesn't fit the narrative.
Doesn't fit the narrative at all.
Medicare services. And so we're wondering, like, where's the equipment at?
Actually, I don't know.
But so do you guys not have any of the equipment here?
I don't know.
No.
No, I don't know.
So how come your husband has this address registered as the location for 3 different companies that receive money from Medicaid for durable medical equipment? Do you know what kind of equipment he sells?
No, we don't have. Not at home. We have a job.
No hablo inglés.
I don't have any equipment.
But does he sell durable medical equipment?
I don't know. At home, nothing. No, I don't have anything.
Inside of this apartment complex, one apartment alone, there is 3 DME companies operating out of one apartment. Is that even possible? And it says that these places can make about $2 to $8 million a year.
Well, first off, was there anything in the apartments when you went to it?
Absolutely nothing. There was a mom and her children, and the husband was out.
It's almost certainly fraud. First off, it's $2 to $8 million a month, believe it or not. When they really get the scale, it may just be that number now.
What in the hell, man? Holy! I'm glad you did cut in about 2 seconds early. What I was saying.
Oh gosh.
No hablo inglés. Get out of here.
How much?
Almost 200 million. Good Lord.
You know, a couple of years ago when the Tea Party was around and people were, you know, storming the Bastille, well, how come nobody's freaked out now that we're finding out all this stuff is happening and they're just stealing
because
from
they're
us?
all in it. They're all in on it. I mean,
but these guys grow like vermin very quickly. There's twice as many durable medical suppliers in South Florida than McDonald's because it's easier to open one than a bank account. And the person named in the account is never the person who actually owns the business. In South Florida, the Cuban government's involved. I don't know where these guys are getting their money to go, but they're definitely shipping it somewhere. And that's why I get very nervous about foreign governments getting entangled in this. But to open 3 in one apartment makes no sense, especially when there's no product there. All you're doing is gaming the system. And the fact that we didn't audit it, didn't catch it, didn't stop it, and they're probably out there making money infuriates me and should bother folks out there because it's your tax dollars paying for this.
So it's literally impossible for somebody to be operating a durable medical equipment company inside of an apartment.
Inside an apartment with no goods and 2 other durable medical equipment suppliers, that's a major red flag, the kind you walk in the battle with.
So 3 LLCs inside of one apartment, and Dr. Oz has confirmed that that's not even possible.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
All right, so in full disclosure, I have had 3, 4, 5 LLCs with the same address. So, I mean, that part isn't uncommon. But if I had 3 or 4 LLCs and we were all selling medical equipment and there was no medical equipment when we went there, then that kind of stinks. That
sketchy. Yeah, a little sketchy.
A whole lot sketchy. Oh, my gosh.
You know, I mean, that video there, I mean, I felt bad for all those pigeons behind them. I mean, all that money they're making, they're not feeding those birds behind them. Anyway, I digress.
Feeding the birds? Man, that looks like a farm. That's Thanksgiving food, right?
Yeah, especially with those Haitians in Ohio.
Oh my God.
I was just thinking, was it a week or so ago when they had the fraud meeting? Not one Democrat showed up.
Nope.
That tells you all you need to know.
No.
They're in on it. They want the fraud to continue. They want to continue to steal our money. So turn off the spigots, turn off the taps, and then let them cry a little bit, just like they did when we did USAID. We cut.
I don't know how the exact quote goes, but something I'll paraphrase. The only way evil people can continue to do what they do is by good people staying silent. And right now is not a time to be silent, not a time to just look the other way or turn the other cheek or any of the other metaphors of what's going on, because they're coming for us. They're taking your money now and they're going in. Yeah. Thank God. I don't know if you guys saw the results of Arizona last night. The
7-0.
Yeah, but even on the Democrat side, the commie that was trying to unseat the incumbent got beat by like 35 points. So it didn't work in Arizona. And notice, they're completely quiet about it. Nothing from Bernie. The guy that they tried to unseat got spanked the hell out of the commie by 30-something points. So it's not going to work nationwide. I'm going to talk some more about Mondami tomorrow, because I think what he's doing is trying to, did I say start a revolution with them? I mean,
sure, yeah.
Who knows? It's crazy.
Well, it's interesting too. So Arizona, there was different results because they couldn't get all the cheating going on. That's another thing. Think about that. I'm sure there was a lot of eyeballs at those voting stations by people like you and I.
I want to show you before we go something. It kind of slipped through. President Trump posted this morning. He posted this about. Wrong button. He posted this about. Hold on. There we go. About Iran. So from this point forward, this was at 8:56 this morning. From this point forward, anytime the Islamic Republic of Iran, and notice he just shoots. If they just shoot at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it be by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those next to or in the capital city of Tehran. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now let's see if they call his bluff. If they say, we're gonna go, it's gonna get ugly very quickly, very quickly. Like I showed everybody at the beginning, the last post President Trump had put up was this one. He goes, orders CENTCOM to open the gates of hell after U.S. troops killed.
Gates of hell.
So it's gonna.
I hope that he continues to go after the infrastructure. I mean, I know it's going to be a hardship on the good people of Iran that are affected by it, but I mean, turn off the lights, blow up the roads, don't kill the supply routes. I mean, when people get hungry, they're going to turn.
I don't think there's any other choice but to make these people feel some pain, because the Democrats are going to continue to try and bait everybody and try to make everybody think we're losing and play games in that regard. So I think he's got to strike hard, very hard.
Yeah, and he's been doing it for almost 10 days now. So we'll see.
It's going to get ugly. All right. Thank you, SB,
for
your time
That's
today.
all we got first.
And
see you tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, let me do super chats, and then we'll go to after party. I got a lot of content for tomorrow because we didn't get to it because we've already been here 2.5 hours. Didn't seem like it. Time flies when you're having fun.
Rallies are fun.
Yeah, the rallies are definitely fun. All right, thank you, SB. All right, so let me go ahead and read these. I just wanted to say, somebody had sent me an email and they said that they were mad because they said the only way their comments get on screen is if they pay, and that's not true. I mean, as you saw throughout the rally and even beforehand, I've got a rotating thing that just puts comments up on the screen, and nobody's paying. It's just putting them up. And I will never, ever, ever ask for super chats. This is just the kindness of people doing it. So he was wrong. Anyway, Luisa, as a veteran, this is what we sign up for. We take our oath freely, which family and friends Pollock will never understand, that we will die for freedom. Wow, my deepest condolences and sympathy to the families. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Wow. Good post. Starfleet, the rally is at Wheeler High School in Marietta, Georgia, northwest of Atlanta. Yes, indeed, that's where it was. Linnell, which, by the way, we're going to see a lot more rallies. I mean, it's July, almost August, but as we get closer to the midterms, watch for a lot more rallies. Susie Wiles actually said that. Linnell, we literally have thousands of able-bodied prisoners incarcerated in our prison system. Why can't we use them for farm work? Good point. Very good point. Very, very good point. Go pick some damn lettuce. You're absolutely right. Chiosop, can't stop laughing. My 401k was down. My family wouldn't talk to me. They thought I was a loser. Now my 401k is doing great. My wife thinks I'm a genius. That's how it always works. Kathleen, what is President Trump going to do for seniors? Well, I'm pretty sure there was something called no taxes on Social Security. Trump RX for your meds. All kinds of things, right? Am I wrong with that? Or did you miss that over the last few months? Micro Rod, is that the name? Micro Rod. Would you be interested in doing some football shows this year? If so, college and pro. That's what I was alluding to in that poll I put up. Because one of the things I'm thinking about doing on probably like a Monday is do a section, do a segment of the show, doing scores and talking. If people are interested in it, you're going to see a lot of changes here over the next probably month or so. Doing a lot. That Pete Hegseth thing was something I did today, and we produced that and came up with a little jingle for it. I'm going to do a lot more different type of content. I think now is the time. Now is the time for me to begin differentiating myself from a lot of other creators and YouTube channels. I'm getting tired of the same old stuff. It's become kind of stale. Obviously, as we move forward, it's going to be a little bit more compelling. There's going to be rallies. There's going to be different things going on. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm watching people and they're basically talking about the same stuff over and over and over again. And so I'll look to you guys and say, what would you like to dig into? So if this is something, if you'd want to see some stuff about football, sure. Sure, I'd love to do it. My background's there, so I could talk about it. I know some people wanted to talk about real estate. I know some people wanted to talk about trading. So I'm thinking about having like once a week type, we'll have a health platform. We'll do a sports, and we'll do trading, and we'll do real estate. And and that way you guys can get used to it. So if we said Thursdays and late in the show, we're going to do real estate. And Monday, late in the show, we're going to talk sports. Or Friday, we're going to talk health. That's what I want to get to, because I know nobody else is touching this stuff. I don't know, maybe it'll fall flat in its face and you're like, nope, don't like it. And then we'll have to change again. But that's what I want to try. So put in the chat if you'd like to see some of that diverse type of content. Alec, and also getting guests who can also speak to that stuff as well, besides myself. Alec, what are the chances that Mangdami is working behind the scenes with Godify? I don't know who he's working with. Like I said, though, I wouldn't be surprised if he took two to the back of the head. Don't wish it upon him, but Lupe, thanks, Barry. Thank you. And what's this? Ernest, but keep doing for sure. For sure. Rallies are the bread and butter. Wouldn't think about getting away from the rallies. That's number one. That's what we first started doing when we first started doing this and following President Trump. So we'll see what kind of stuff you like, what kind of stuff you don't like. And we'll take it from there. But I definitely want to do some different things. And if you like that Pete Hegseth intro, here, let me play that one more time, because some of you guys may not have seen it. Oh, I turned it off. Once I keep things in here, I turn them off. And of course, the libtard zones, we'll keep doing that too. All right, see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.